Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to a Monday edition of the Ysn Power Hour. DJ Yoakley, fresh off the beach here in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and the living legend himself, Mr. Ty Bartell, joins us today. Ty, you and I, the only ones out there. Sounds like a lot of baseball, softball, everything getting rained out back home in Northeast Ohio, but we played softball today, my friend, and I'll tell you what, between South Range, Austintown Fitch, to start the game or the day at 8 o'clock. Not a whole lot of runs for the other teams and a lot of runs for the hometown teams.
I tell you what, DJ. I mean, I look at this and I might be talking with some bias too. Of course, the YSN teams, but I mean, I tell you, we got some state contenders here in all divisions, and you see these teams down here and doing what they do to teams from out of state, and it's like this every single year. It's always the talking point is that we come out here and we run the show. It feels like against a lot of these teams and show them what a little bit of baseball and softball up north is a little bit about.
Well, and the thing is I was just down on the beach talking to Donnie Farron, the athletic director at South Range, talking to Coach Spanky DeRose, of course, Jeff DeRose, the head coach, and they said the team that South Range played today, University School, 10-1 on the season coming into today's contest, and they got blanked 12-0. And you look at what South Range has been able to do, and I speak of South Range because that's who I'm covering. They have mercied every single team that they've played so far. You look at Gerard, Jefferson, and now University High School. This is a very young South Range team, only one senior, Gretchen Bartels, but the rest of that team coming up very strong, almost like the tidal waves that we see on the beach right now, Ty.
You talk about pitching with South Range too, and I mean Jaylee Wild is just stepping right into that kind of tradition that Coach DeRose and Raider Company has kind of built over there with that softball program. It kind of lives and dies by who's in the circle, and they've been living and thriving by some really good arms in that circle the last few years.
You look at Austintown Fitch from your standpoint, you got a chance to look at them the past week or so, but none better than today. 16-0 victory. I mean, wasn't even close. Wasn't even close. You were over in my side of the field before I could even blink. I mean, talk about this Austintown. This is a returning championship caliber team. Obviously, Steve Ward doing an excellent job of just fixing what he lost. And he lost a lot, but he brought even more of talent back to this team with some new names and new faces and new places.
You got a 1 through 9 lineup that can hurt you too, and then I mean as long as you got number 5 in that circle too, she can do pretty much anything. Sid Vicious is just that, man. She could strike out double digits against any team too, and I mean really when you talk with Allentown Fitch, excuse me, it really comes down to if we get 3 to 4 runs of offense, we feel like we're good every game this season. No matter the opponent, we put up 3 to 4 runs of offense. We got a good showing. Well, they put up 16 today, and again, that 1 through 9 order is doing their thing. The Rays at the top, both Kayliana and Ayla, they set the table, and then they got plenty of power in the middle of that lineup as well.
You got a chance to look at Canfield as well as time went on. What did you see from Coach Kernan's squad?
You look at this, it was a 3-0 win against Bluefield. And this was a Bluefield team that last year hung the first loss against the Cardinals. Canfield came in 10-0 last year against Bluefield and lost 2-1. Milena Toth just comes out, strikes out 19, throws a no-hitter in 7 innings against Bluefield. She's doing what she's doing as MT, the Buffalo commit, looking strong as ever. And they get that 3-0 win. And you know how the kind of competitor Kernan is. You know the competitor that those Canfield girls are. They knew about that Bluefield game last year. Bluefield came in 5-0 this year, and they were able to reverse what they did to them last year and hang that first loss against the Beavers.
So when you look at what our teams did this morning, I mean, you've got a 12-0 victory, a 16-0 victory, and a 3-0 victory. Able to win all three, but win all three not only in convincing fashion, but in shutout fashion. Ty, I mean, you said it to kind of tease the top of the show. When you look at what teams from Ohio, specifically our side of the state, are doing when they go on these trips, these vacations, is Ohio a powerhouse in softball and baseball when you come down south? Because really, the Southerners should have a distinct advantage playing down here not only all year long, but being able to play in their home field a lot of these times, and playing outside all year long almost. why is it that we can go down, and how is it that our region is so good at these spring sports when we should be used to hitting the ball inside a cage or inside of a shack?
I really think it just goes back to the tradition of baseball and softball in that Mahoning Valley, man. I mean, my fathers have played, grandfathers have played, fathers of grandfathers have played. I mean, it's gone back years. And I mean, these names that we're seeing now in a lot of these softball, baseball programs, we kind of know their dads from years past too that have also been playing in these programs too. There's a long-standing tradition of a lot of talent in Northeast Ohio and Ohio as a state in general too. I mean, I'll go up against any teams above that. I guess that line of the equator, you could say, for North America, right, between the South and the North. I think we got one of the best teams as far as like talent wise, boys and girls baseball, softball at the high school level in Ohio in general too. And I mean, we're contending with teams from the South consistently, and I mean, we prove it again today.
One of the things I'm really interested in when you look at kind of all of the teams. So you've got Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. I know I believe there's a team going to Arizona this spring from our area to kind of hone their skills there. So when you look at that, there's Florida, Cocoa Beach. I know a couple teams went down there. Tennessee as well. Uh,
Pigeon Forge, yeah.
yeah. So when you look at these different teams going different places, most of them being successful, I think the lowest that I've come across so far, and I'm sure you can correct me or Anthony will pop on and tell me I'm wrong, but I think the lowest we have is a 500 record going on and playing elsewhere. So when you look at what our teams are able to do and accomplish on the road, on vacation, where they've got probably their parents, their coaches, and then the players certainly have vacation on their mind, but they're able to get the job done to the tune of 500 baseball, 500 softball, or even better. There's a mentality, Ty, that goes along with these trips. And for you, what have you been able to kind of see from these 14 to 18-year olds that they are really, really out kicking their coverage when it comes to being able to keep themselves mentally locked in?
It's just, I think the time management of kids nowadays is just impeccable, right? Like, I feel like I started learning really and honing time management skills like senior year of high school, and then you go into college. But these kids, they're freshman year of high school, man, and it seems like they got things on a lock of like what we're doing today. You talk about South Range and Austin Town Fitch. That's an 8 a.m. first pitch start time, which means you need to be up around 6 a.m. too. A lot of these kids are just getting ready to get into class now. Now you're getting ready to play a softball game at 8 a.m. and both of them get the job done. But they've done this within travel softball too. They've been able to kind of hone these time management skills. That's the thing that I'm always most impressed about is that these kids that have these kind of schedules like adults too, and they're able to stick to them and still be successful for how young they are.
I was so impressed because usually, you give 5-10 minutes, especially like when you come down to places like Myrtle Beach, like Tennessee, because you just never know when it's going to start. Kind of everybody's kind of on vacation time a little bit. Today, for mine at least, it was 7:58 first pitch. I mean, they wasted no time. It was get in, get it done. We've got other games to play along the way. Uh, Weather looks great up until Wednesday. Looks a little bit sketchy on Wednesday. The temperature drops a little bit and possibly some rain coming in. But to be able to get these games in, I mean, you're looking at 4 to 5 games that you're able to get in almost. And I say almost, it is nearly 99% of the time you're getting these games in. But if you can't, how do you make the adjustment? I mean, I know we're used to cancel games back home, as we saw today. You and I were kind of monitoring the group chat and seeing canceled, 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 and we're already done. We're done for the day. The biggest thing we have to worry about is what's for dinner tonight. From that standpoint, for you, how do you stay locked in these games? You got a broadcast. You had 2 broadcasts today, and of course, you got the rest of the week. And then, my friend, what people don't know, you are going to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, to take in the WrestleMania experience. So, how do you stay locked in and not trying to keep one foot in front of the other and get going? Because I know, like for you, that is a bucket list item that you're about to take part in.
Dream. Oh, absolutely. And I mean, I talk with the missus too about the excitement for it. But I mean, it goes back to just coach talk and the great coaches that you get a chance to be around about just taking things one day at a time. And I feel like that's just the best strategy to attack anything, right? You got to take it one day at a time, one game at a time too. And I can't ever overlook this too, because I mean, I love coming down here. I love the softball experience and seeing these great teams pitted up against other great teams from other states. And usually seeing us come out on top is a pretty fun time to watch as well.
Well, I don't know how to say this, but there's a third party down here in Myrtle Beach. He is having the time of his life with his family. You see it if you're friends with him on social media. He is just loving life right now. Ladies and gentlemen, live from the beach, Sam Torres.
What is going on, fellas? Hopefully, you guys can hear me okay. I got a little salt water in my ear, so hopefully, I'm not going to be yelling.
We feel awful for you, Sam. We feel awful for you. I was just off the beach myself. I mean, a great morning, an excellent morning of softball. Here, Ty got 2 coverages, 2 wins. I got the South Range coverage, another win, 3-0. You start your journey, so to speak, tomorrow, Sam. This is your first time down here in MB, the Grand Strand. What are you looking forward to most?
So, I think what I'm looking forward to the most is actually getting to see some of the softball down here. So, initially when I was coming down here, I thought it was just going to be all baseball. And I'm really pumped about baseball. Don't get me wrong. There's, obviously St. John from my neck of the woods down here. We've got some great teams like, South Range and Fitch and a lot of people down here playing baseball. So I was really looking forward to calling that and going to see that. But you get kind of an extra with getting to call some softball. So I'm going to get a chance to do that tomorrow. And I'm really, really excited to see high level softball at that. We've got some ladies that, played almost all the way into the summer into their high school career last year, coming back, to play down here. So I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, and I think it boils down to you get to see Canfield right off the jump, right? So being able to see the Cardinals, all 3 teams, we covered that earlier, all 3 teams got shutout wins today. So that's huge, not only for these teams down here, but it's huge for everybody watching and kind of keeping track at home, understanding that these are some great pitchers that are in the circle for these teams in Fitch, in Canfield, in South Range, but also the offense guys, is there for them. I mean, your South Range, I think, has over 30 runs in their 3 games, their 3 victories. So you look at that, you look at what Fitch did today, a 16-0 win and a very big win for Canfield and that 3-0 win over, like you said, Ty Bluefield. What for these young ladies, is there I don't want to say a means to an end, but they haven't really battled a whole lot of adversity. I joked down on the beach. I said that team was not exactly the caliber that we're used to and accustomed to playing up in North. Nothing against UHS, but we're used to seeing a little better softball, and the adversity that South Range is used to facing, they haven't faced it yet. When that comes around, is that something that Ty you can adjust to? Is that something that you can prepare for in practice? Is that something you just have to be mentally locked in and have that dog in you? Or is it just deal with it when you get there?
It kind of has to be like deal with it when you get there, right? Because you can only do so much practice, but that's never going to simulate quite what it's like when you got a pitcher throwing it from 45, right? I mean, you got to have like that live game experience to be able to adjust and be able to go up against a good arm too. But really good hitters, though, it usually only takes one time through the order before they kind of find that comfort level against a good hitter. I was talking with a couple of the coaches down here, though. It really comes down to just finding those good opposing pitchers to go up against for your lineup, because a lot of these pitchers in the circle with travel softball, with what they're doing in the summer anyway, these pitchers have seen the best of the best hitters already. Some of these elite ones, like your Milena Toads, like your Sydney Watts, right? And Jaylee Wilt's probably going to be right up on that mountain too. And she's, I'm sure, already had her experience against some tough bats as well. You talk about the experience they have there too. They're already kind of, seasoned in that aspect. Hitting is one of those things you got to do it, I feel like, pretty often. You need to find those good pitchers, those challenging pitchers to get your hitters really prepared for tournament time. And it just comes down to trying to find those. And they didn't find maybe some of those for Fitch and South Range today. Canfield got lucky, though. That pitcher, that Isabella Smith is a solid pitcher, too. And that's what you're wanting to look for when you're getting down here.
Yeah, for me, it boiled down to kind of what I saw from Jaylee Wilt, what I saw from Anna A for South Range. Anna A is an absolute stallion at the dish. I mean, a lefty, she can go gap to gap. She's got power. And I think for me, I'm going to say still, we had a little bit of a tizzy after the game because I had Anna down for 4 RBIs, Giada Pauline with 3. I mean, you're talking about the 3-hole hitter. Giada's a little further down the lineup, so it's like you go 4-4, and then you have Addie Wardle for South Range, who was like a second leadoff hitter. And I think Spanky DeRose and Dawn Farron and Melissa Starkey have this lineup exactly where they want it. And then you've got great talent, great speed off the bench. What did you see from Fitch today, Ty, that was impressive? I mean, 16 runs. Anytime you can put anything over 10, it's incredibly impressive.
The one thing I've said in the first 2 games of the season for Austintown is just the confidence that they're playing with is just incredible, right? They're not playing with that hangover. They're playing like they're hungry, like they're the ones who lost a state title game a year ago, and they're trying to get back to that scene. They've been vocal about what the goal is. They know what the goal is. They're trying to get back. They're trying to repeat. They have all the media attention, the national attention, right? And I think it's just impressive that you're playing with that type of confidence. And when you have a big spotlight on you and so many people are looking at you and saying your names and know who you are now, it can become overwhelming. Think about that in the shoes of a 14 to 18-year-old, right? But the fact that these kids are still going out there playing with confidence, knowing that they're in the limelight, knowing all the lights, the bright lights are shining on them, and still going out there and succeeding, I mean, I tip my cap to all of them.
For Sam, I'm going to kick it to you real quick. I'm going to unmute you in a second because I can hear the ocean behind you. It's one of those things when you're dealing with being on the beach, right? Trying to be in vacation mode, but also being in game mode. How do from your standpoint, Tyler, he kind of answered it from his. How do you control time management? How do you control your emotions? How do you control your sleep pattern? Obviously, you want to get up and maybe watch the sunrise. Maybe you don't want to go to sleep because you're on vacation, hanging out with your friends, things of that nature. How do you control all of that when it comes down to it?
Yeah, I think that's probably the most difficult thing for anybody coming down here, right? Because you're down here in this, seeming it's like a paradise down here. You've got a
Right.
beautiful ocean view. There's so much to do. There's such a high concentration of different things that you're going to want to get into and experience and that sort of thing. Because for some of these kids, I'm sure this is the first time they've ever been on a vacation, anything like this. So you're trying to kind of get in all of these things in at once. But at the end of the day, you still got a job to get done, right? So you got to kind of, use everything in time and make sure you're kind of, putting the same work you were putting in. It's the same thing I would kind of compare to, like, during the school week. You know what I mean? You've got midterms or you've got a big test or something coming up, but you've also got a big rivalry game coming up. You have to find that, that balance and kind of put that in, except it's just a little harder when you're down here in paradise.
And one of the things that we're looking forward to most down here is obviously the breaking bread with each other, having some team bonding ourselves. For them, I mean, for the girls, for the guys that are down here, I've seen. Listen, Sam, I texted you the pictures of the new South Range jerseys, and I think they are absolutely fire. The boys' baseball jerseys, the gold jerseys with the burgundy, the range right across the shirt. I mean, it's absolutely perfect. I could not make a better jersey if I did it myself and I had a year to plan for it. Well done to Jim Hannock and Donnie Farron for being able to put those old school throwbacks together. She's a beaut, Clark. She's a beaut. But for you guys, the team bonding experiences, I'm sure you'll hear stories if you haven't already about how trips like these can impact the season as it goes on. Seniors, kind of putting their arms around freshmen and underclassmen and making sure that they know that that baton is being handed off. For you guys, what would you want to see out of these teams to let them know and understand that even though you are far from home, the games and your actions that you're doing right now have consequences and have opportunity when you get back to Northeast Ohio? Ty?
It goes right to that, right? You don't have all the parents watching you too. Not everyone has their parent down here, right? So it kind of goes back to that self-management, right? Can I manage myself as more of an adult too, as a young adult now, going to a trip like this and still being able to manage what I got to do on the field and what I got to do to get it done too, right? And while also having my enjoying time too and bonding with the team. But I think it goes back to just that too, is just being able to kind of manage yourself too, know that there is no escape now when you're with your teammates too, and maybe there's a little bit of a scuffle or a disagreement. There's no going home. You gotta work that out too. But those are the things that really help bring a team together going into a season. And I mean, you hear from so many teams after trips like this how they say, and they'll point to this and say that was the best point of the season. It really brought everyone together, kind of like the glue.
Sam, back to you.
Yeah, I look at this and you always hear about iron sharpens iron, and sometimes if you feel like you've conquered where you're at, it's a good thing to do is to go out and kind of seek other opponents and see what they're doing. And when you're in an area like where we're from, you're seeing the same teams, you're seeing the same people for years and years. I think this is a great way to kind of step out of that and really kind of test your mettle against other teams. And I think that's really going to come into account, late into the playoffs, late into the season. The whole iron sharpens iron thing, I go back and forth on, because I'll be honest with you guys. I think when it comes to the highest concentration of talent, when it comes to diamond sports in the country, I think they're smack dab in the middle, but it's still a good place to go out and, test their mettle against everybody else around the country.
We saw Fitch was nationally ranked. I don't know if you guys caught that at all, Ty. I think you saw that for sure. When you're another team and you're seeing Austintown Fitch walk through those gates at North Myrtle Beach Complex, Sports Complex, and you see the red, the white, and the blue, and you see what they did with a 16-0 victory today. I mean, what does that do to your psyche if you're the opposition coming in tomorrow and you're saying, "Hey, this is like top 10 team in the nation, not just Ohio." So, I mean, are you gearing yourself up? Can you gear yourself up too much, Ty, to take on Coach Ward and the gals, or is it one of those situations where you know you mess around and it can make you famous?
Yeah, I mean, it is one of those things. I mean, you want to, yeah, I think the competitive nature of what we see softball, I mean, a lot of people want to test their might against them, right? They want to try to see if they could take down the one of the high and mighty nationally ranked teams. But it just comes down to you need to be able to catch a 70-mile-per-hour rise ball. Like, you need to be able to hit 70 miles per hour plus. Like, that's what Sid brings to the table too. And if you can't catch up to that, you're already kind of at a disadvantage. But putting in contact is one thing. Putting it in play, hard contact is another. The thing with Fitch, though, like I said earlier, it's just the confidence that they walk in. They're a nationally ranked team, but they're not coming in with as much cockiness as maybe years before, where you see them. They've kind of matured a little bit, where they're coming in. They feel like they're going to beat you, but I mean, they're just playing with that kind of confident style of, we know we're good, and we're going to show you how good we are every single time we step on the field.
All right, I've got an honest to God question for you guys that I just came up with. So it might not make a whole lot of sense, but we're going to give it a shot anyway. I give you 100 pitches, and offensively and defensively. So you're pitching or you're hitting, okay? You're facing Sid. What could you do more successfully out of 100 pitches? Could you get 100, or could you get 10 hits off of her, 10 contacts off of her? We're not even worried about hits. Just make contact with the stinking ball, right? Or could you get more pitches past her as someone in the circle? Ty, we'll start with you because you see her the most.
I've seen Sid a ton. I would not want to take any hacks at anything she's got dealing in the circle. I've seen her in the batter's box, and she's a tough hitter. She's going to bat 400 to 500, right? She's going to hit moonshots, but she has a tendency to get that big swing out a little bit. So I feel like I might be able to sneak a few by Sid too, and get those big swings corked, and get a couple misses. But I don't think me in the box against Sid in the circle, I don't see any kind of success happening with that.
So you're saying you'd rather pitch to her?
I would 100% rather pitch to her. I don't think I'm going to have much success either way, but I think I have a little bit better chance at pitching to her rather than hitting against her.
Sam, for you, which success? Where does it lie for you?
Listen, it's a real easy answer for me. I'm pitching to that young lady because I don't think I would touch a single ball that this generation's Jenny Finch is throwing at me, and that's just the real that's reality of it. I'll take my chances in that she hasn't seen one this slow coming in her entire career, so I may have her way out in front for the whole game, but I'm not letting her throw at me.
I love it. Mark Roth chiming in. Good to see you, Mark. Saying this spring high school trips provide a little preview of what travel will look like for these potential college baseball and softball players. I couldn't agree with that more. I mean, that's great insight.
I tell you what, these parks too, Grand Strand, they do a great job with these fields, beautifully taken care of too. And this Cal Ripken experience, Sam, with the baseball, it's going to be exciting. I was looking at it too. They got things like the Polo Grounds, Ebbets Field. They're not just named after it; these are modeled after those exact parks too. So beautiful things that they're doing out here in Myrtle Beach too, and that's just a great experience for these kids.
Yeah, you guys, have you been to Ripken? Sam hasn't.
I personally haven't been yet. No.
Okay, so you're in for a treat. I mean, it's a beautiful complex. You walk in, I mean, you feel like you've made it somewhere. It's got the Cal Ripken vibe to it, the black and the orange stuff in like the shop, the team shop and stuff. But you go to these fields, and like you said, Ty, they're modeled after the professional fields. I mean, they are dimension wise taken care of, all that stuff. I wish there were. I want to say there's a Dodger Stadium kind of ravine or whatever it is out there. I want to say. I wish there was a Fenway. If there was a Fenway, that would be absolutely legit. I would love that.
I love that idea for the Cal Ripken experience though too. The idea of adding all those parks with those dimensions too. Like you talk about an experience too, like literally almost a once in a lifetime too. Give me a Fenway and give me maybe a Field of Dreams-esque park too, and I would
with corn
I'd take that.
With corn in the back.
Yeah, grow a little bit of corn in the background. That would be dope.
I know we're trying to do that at athletics. We're trying to make something happen at athletics like that with the corn that grows to the right sides of the athletics field house. That would be unbelievable. For Sam, you said you'd much rather be in the circle as well, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I don't. Here's the thing. I'm going 0 for what'd you say, 500 or 100? Doesn't matter.
100.
I'm going 0 for 100. I don't even think I'm gonna foul one off. I saw, I've watched this young lady for the past couple of years since, joining the YSN team, and, her Instagram stuff that you see out there and all these different, scouting and things like that. Like, it looks like, an Xbox game picture. Like, I've never seen anything like it.
I can't comprehend how she can throw that fast in a pitch that starts at the knees and then ends up above the letters by the time it gets to you. Like I can't comprehend that pitch.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say I'd go. I just because I'm more of a hitter and I was a catcher, so it's not really fair. I would want to try to hit off of her just to say that I could do it.
Try to get contact too. Tommy Watts will stand by and say that she walked him to this day too, but she says she struck him out. It's a little bit up in the air on what actually happened there.
Give me the stick. Give me the stick. Let's see if this old boy's got one more left in him, huh? You bat 452 in high school. Let's drive that up a little bit higher.
I'd love to get that together, maybe at an all-star game or something. Let's get the owner of the old 31 Don and back on him.
Yeah, the 31. I'll take the 31 off the wall and put it right back on. As long as she doesn't hit me, I'm fine. If she hits me, I'm probably crying. I'm in tears, walking away wherever we are. Probably just crying my eyes out because it's gonna hurt. I mean, 70 miles an hour doesn't feel good no matter what it is. You just look at this. People always, growing up in the softball era, right? We're kind of, it turned into, hey, softball is a girls' sport. It's lesser than baseball. It's this, it's that. And now it's, guys, I couldn't be more proud of this sport, of the ambassadors of this sport, of our area for being able to be the queens, so to speak, of the diamond. It is a fun sport to watch. It's why we love it. We are incredibly blessed to have good teams in the area that just keep on trucking along, and to be able to follow them down, 600 miles. I think I'm not a geographic major or anything like that, but I think I saw 600 miles. To be able to follow them down here to the grandstand and watch them play and root for them is something special. But the last question I have for you guys before we get out of here, because after all, we are on vacation. We're going to break bread, and we're going to do it tonight in a big way. It is Rios night in America, ladies and gentlemen. It is all you can eat meat here in almost in North Carolina. My God, South Carolina, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina.
Myrtle Beach, North Carolina.
I've heard that before. I don't know where I've heard that before, but I know I have. I'm excited for this for you guys. I know it's less of a competition and more of being able to enjoy the stories, create memories. Our families are down here with us. What are you looking forward to most about the food down here, Sam? I know. For those of you who don't know, Sam loves seafood, but is definitely allergic to was it shellfish?
Yeah,
shellfish.
it's shellfish, and it's the best shellfish. It's shrimp, it's lobster, it's crab. I can eat all the mussels and oysters you can muster. None of the good stuff.
And as much as I love Sam, I'm sorry, buddy. I'm not taking the foot off the gas when we go to Captain George's later this week. I am going to be a glutton for crab and all the stuff that comes, the shrimp, all the shrimp I can muster. You're gonna sit at one end of the table. I'll sit at the other. Ty, you can sit. I don't know if you like food like that or not. You sit somewhere
absolutely.
in between. So you will be sitting by each other, and Sam will be at a table by himself eating the.
Sam's gonna be in a hazmat suit.
But for you guys, what's the most important part of this stuff when we make these trips down here?
To me, it's just bonding with everybody too. Our team, the other teams too, and just becoming closer with one another. We are one big family as a YSN family, and we say that all the time. Not just the workers and everything here, but that goes to the teams, the coaches, and the communities that we cover too. And just being able to be down here and kind of share stories with them, and you get that extra time to be able to talk with them too, because you don't have as many things pulling you as many directions when you're down here. This is kind of more your focus. So you get to kind of talk to these people in these communities, these players a little bit more, and get to know them a little bit on a more personal level.
Sammy?
Yeah, I think it's building on what Ty said. I think it's that experience. It's the ability to show support. You know what I mean? A lot of times when you're traveling this far, when you're talking about some of the teams from Northeast Ohio, these baseball and softball teams, even though they're going to come down here and have a good time, I think it's nice to have a familiar face and a familiar supporting body that's following them down there and following down there for nothing more than to just show support and keep them on the network that they belong. For somebody personally, for these things, I think it's super important because, when you're doing what we're doing and it's doing everything you can every single day, every minute of the day. We're still getting to do what we love down here, but we get to have it with a much more beautiful background. So, stuff like that is, you can't write it and you can't put a price on it.
All right, very special caveat to our Joe Dickey Electric What's Your Spark today. It is the travel version of What's Your Spark, brought to you by Joe Dickey Electric. Visit them today at dickeyelectric.com. I will go first because I've created this caveat and I want to make sure that you guys have time to think about it. For me, my spark today in the travel situation is the overpacking. That like you think you're gonna need everything. You start putting stuff in your car. You start putting stuff in your suitcase. I'm gonna need this. There's no way that I can do without this. And then you get down here or down wherever you are or up wherever you are, and you don't need 70% of the things that you actually put in that suitcase or put in that car. And like I've got two computers, I've got two power packs, I've got two everything, and I'll never need that. But in my mind, we're gonna get in an absolute terrible car crash, and I'm gonna be able to carry one thing out, and that's it. Like I get one of everything. I'm an idiot. It's basically what it boils down to. I'm an absolute schlub when it comes to packing. I overpack. My kids are sitting there. They've got suitcases falling on them as we're driving 600 miles from East Palestine, Ohio, down to Myrtle Beach. I'm an absolute jackass, is what it boils down to, and I couldn't be more proud to be that jackass and to be able to provide this awesome vacation and be with my family. But that's my spark is I don't know how to pack at all. Ty, how about you?
My spark is my kid, Chloe Madeline. It was amazing this whole drive. We woke up at 5:30 in the morning. We took a 12-hour trek with stops nonstop straight down here to Myrtle Beach. Had a little bit of issues with our one hotel, but she stayed absolutely patient through all of it too. And I couldn't have asked for a better experience for her too, because she's been having nothing but fun the last few days too. So she's gotten rewarded for her patience.
Samuel?
Yeah, my spark is going to be a little bit of yours and a little bit of Ty's together. One of the biggest things, this is the first time we've ever taken Juliana this long in a car. She did great with her fifth birthday actually being the first day we got down here. So she did phenomenal. And my other spark is building on what DJ was talking about with overpacking. I underpacked because I was so worried about making sure I had my computer and my table and my battery pack and everything I needed to make sure I could get these broadcasts done the way that they should. I forgot to pack what's very important, as I am one of millions of people across the country, and I suffer from sleep apnea. So my spark is my mother, the godsend that she is, going to my house, packaging up this whole sleep apnea machine, throwing it on the first bus on the USPS, and I got it today, and I'm looking forward to the first good night of sleep since I've got down here.
I was gonna say, Mr. 72-pound suitcase at Dallas Airport didn't overpack.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Everything for the broadcast that I could possibly need is there. Everything I need to maybe stay alive through the night, not so much.
So your luggage is 72 pounds, sir. It's going to cost you extra dollars, sir. It's going to cost you extra dollars. No, awesome, and happy birthday, Juliana. Now a 5-year-old, no longer a toddler. She's out of that stage, and she
toddlers
is a
and teenagers. That's all I've got.
Oh my God! God bless you, my son. God bless you. Plenty of action on YSN. I know the stories are up. Ties the Canfield story up as well.
It was said to Anthony it should be up if it's not already. So we should be seeing that shortly.
All 3 stories are on ysnlive.com, interviews as well. And we have, of course, a lot more where that came from as we continue to trek through this journey of this week. I hope everybody had a happy Easter. I know we all had a good time yesterday with our families. And, of course, like I said, there's a lot more where that came from. Stay tuned. I know I got a noon game tomorrow. Ty, what do you have tomorrow?
I believe it's either 10 a.m. or noon. I think it's 10 a.m. tomorrow.
Okay, 10 a.m. And I've got a doubleheader. I'm going from softball to baseball. Sam, you get your first taste of the Myrtle Beach scene tomorrow. What do you have?
Yeah, I got a double dose of softball tomorrow, 12 and 4. So I'm looking forward to getting down there and get the party started. Because these young ladies, I've got some high quality softball coming ahead of me.
It's going to be
anytime
fun.
You get to see MT, it's fun.
Oh, it's a great time down here. We're looking forward to bringing you all the action. Only one place that you can get it down here in Myrtle Beach, and it's right here on ysnlive.com. For Sam, for Ty, I'm DJ. We'll see you tomorrow. Hopefully, well, actually, no, you won't, because I'll be doing a game. So there is no Power Hour tomorrow. Tune into the games that we have for you and appreciate those. And it doesn't sound like weather's going to be all that great back home. So there's only one thing for you to do, and that's watch us. We'll see you when we see you, I guess. For the next time on the YSN Power Hour, probably brought to you by our friends at Toyota of Warren. Bye-bye.
YSN thanks you for watching this presentation.